everyone. I have another message that has come in through Facebook. Hi, I just discovered your YouTube channel and wanted to say thank you for everything you do to support other survivors of narcissistic abuse. I've recently gotten no contact with my mother, and I come from a big family, so it's been very difficult adjusting from having somewhat of a family to no family. I've known about I've known about narcissistic personality disorder for over a year now. I have been in the throes of making sense of my childhood, and the last realization I made is what gave me the courage to cut off my mother. I was suicidal from a young age. I started cutting at age 12, and by age 14, I had started taking too much pain medication on a regular basis. My saving grace was my best friend, who would listen and care for me like no one in my family could. My mother would eavesdrop on all my conversations, and the day she found out I had been overdosing, she didn't tell anyone about it and let me keep pain pills in my room. After letting me know, after letting me after letting me know she knew what I was doing. Every time she saw a scar from cutting, she would ask about it. I would lie, and that'd be it. She used to tell me I should wait till I'm 18 to kill myself so she wouldn't have to deal with it, or tell me to go cut myself whenever we argued. She wanted me to die. She had enough children that I could be the sacrificial lamb to get her pity and attention. After struggling with depression and suicidal thoughts and attempts for nearly 10 years, I thought I was diseased and that it was all in my head. I've been diagnosed with PTSD. I have hallucinations of her. I have nightmares about her. She haunts me and I don't know how to get rid of her. Do you have any advice to get rid of the fear and thoughts? I'm so exhausted from it and I don't know what to do. Thank you so much for listening. You bring me hope. Alex. Well, to be honest with you, you are very right. Your mother wanted you to kill herself and to kill yourself. And the reason is why is she wanted the pity. You're right. She wanted the pity party. She wanted that attention brought on her and the pity she would get from it, from your suicide, your death, your funeral. She probably fantasized about it. That's why she would let you keep the pills in your room. She knew you were cutting. She didn't do anything. It doesn't seem like she did anything about it, try to get you any type of professional help whatsoever. I wonder where you were getting the pain pills from, whether they were in the house or you were buying them off the street. But, you know, your mother did absolutely nothing to keep you from hurting yourself. And I would venture to guess everything she did was to try to push you towards hurting yourself. And that's a really, really sad thing. As far as, then, you know, this is another thing that my wife dealt with, constant suicide attempts from the age of 6 on. Cutting, she said she tried to drink, at 7, she drank 2 bottles of cough syrup trying to kill herself. She would take anything, she would cut. Nobody cared. Nobody paid attention. Nobody even questioned where the stuff went. And, you know, that's because they were probably looking for the attention brought on by a suicide, brought on by the death of a child, because, as you said, you were disposable to them. So your narcissist decided the best ends to her means in regards to you was your death, with you killing yourself, and that narcissistic supply they would have gotten from you killing yourself would have subsided after the funeral, unfortunately, and then they would have had to have turned their attention on to someone else. It's another Munchausen by proxy, or Munchausen's disease, where, you know, your mother doesn't have the nerve or the will or whatever you want to call it to actually poison you herself. She's driving you to die through her actions, through her behaviors. She's setting you up and giving you the tools, but she's not actually doing it herself. And your mother is actually, to me, more dangerous than someone who actually goes out and poisons, because she'll never get caught. You know, it's hard enough to catch somebody who's physically poisoning you, but somebody who's doing these manipulations, you know, through, you know, psychological torture, you'll never be able to prove that. Nobody would even know. Other than, you know, the scars from cutting, you know, they might ask your mother, the authorities would ask your mother, well, didn't you see these scars? And your mother would probably just say no, because that would be the only physical evidence of you hurting yourself. You know, it's a very, very sad story. As far as getting rid of the fear and the thoughts, you know, that's tough, because as I've stated many times before, you know, we carry the effects of this abuse around with us for the rest of our lives. And my wife to this day still struggles with that voice in her head telling her just, well, wouldn't it just be easier to kill yourself? Wouldn't it just be easier to kill yourself? And she realizes that it's not her voice telling her to kill herself. That's her mother's voice telling her to kill herself. So in regards to getting rid of the fear of the thoughts, I don't know if the thoughts go away, but you're going to have to realize where the thoughts are coming from, much like my last video where I talked about giving the narcissist one more chance. And when you're telling yourself that, that's not you telling yourself that. That's your narcissist in your head telling you that. Same with this. The push and the drive to kill yourself isn't your voice, isn't you suggesting to kill yourself. That is the leftover abuse of your mother in your head telling you to kill yourself. Because do you really want to die? And that's what I always would ask my mother, ask my wife. Well, do you want to die? No. So then why would you ask yourself if you want to kill yourself? So then why would you want to kill yourself? And I'm like, she's like, I don't know. It's just this voice in my head saying, you know, it would just be easier. This mess would go away if you were just dead. I'm like, is that what you think? She's like, well, I wouldn't physically be here. And I'm like, but if you don't want to die, where's this voice coming from? Whose voice is it? And then it dawned on her. She's like, it's not my voice. It's like, that's my mother's voice in my head. And what I told my wife to do and what she does is she basically tells her own head, fuck off, Mom, get out of my goddamn head. And the voice runs away and hides. I know that sounds a little depressing, and I know that sounds, you know, geez, I'm going to have to deal with this the rest of my life. Yeah. You know, there's no cure-all for this. There's no pill. There's no, you know, magic panacea where, you know, you can take something and it's just going to be gone and these thoughts are going to be over. The damage has been done. You know, you can repair, you know, you can repair a car after an accident, or you could try to glue back a broken dish, but it's never the same. It'll never be the same, and those effects of those accidents and the effects of that damage is always going to be there. It's how you deal with it going forward is what's going to help you survive. So remember, when you're having these fears and these thoughts, or when you're having these thoughts, remember they're not really your thoughts. Those are the thoughts put into your head by your mother. And the fear is, and if I had to guess what the fear is having to deal with your mother again. And the fear is, you know, that leftover trauma. Okay, as you've said you've gotten no contact, the fear is the fear of having to deal with these people again. So remember that. Never make a rash decision. Never just jump to taking pills or trying to kill yourself. Whenever you have these thoughts in your head, stop and ask yourself, where is this coming from? And you're going to realize it's not really your thoughts. It's not really what you want. It's what your mother wanted. Therefore, it's her ideas in your head. Now, you've already had the clarity enough to go no contact because you know she's poison. So why would you listen to her lingering voice in her head? Because you don't realize it's her lingering voice in your head because she's not physically in front of you. Okay? But the longer you stay no contact, I think you said it's been about a year you've been no contact. The longer you stay no contact, the easier and easier it's going to be to spot whose voice that is in your head when those thoughts pop in. You know, I wish I could give you a magic answer to make everything disappear. But if everything disappeared, this channel wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be doing this, and we all wouldn't be dealing with what we deal with trying to get answers for this horrible condition, because it is PTSD. It is post-traumatic stress disorder from a lifetime of abuse from the people who were supposed to care for us the most. Thank you for your message. I really appreciate it. Thank you for opening up. I know other people struggle with suicide and addiction and cutting as well. So, you know, I'm glad I read this one. So let me know what you all think. And if you like this channel, please consider donating to the GoFundMe link in the description box. And remember, if you do make a donation, and you want your story read, you go right to the top and you get the next story. You know, you get the next video directly for you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all again very shortly. Take care. Bye.